friends, welcome back to my channel and welcome to the video I do just about this time every single year, and that's letting you know the makeup I am so excited to really pull out through this next phase of the year. For me, historically, I tend to do these videos to let you know the full glam and the full meal deal that I love to do every fall and winter. But I am thinking this year is going to be a bit different. Why not? That's totally on brand for 2020 anyway, right? This year, I am kind of vibing with a different look, different types of makeup for the back half end of this year. I kind of started thinking about this video a few weeks back because I really do get excited for the fall winter makeup usually. And I know a lot of people tend to just wear whatever they want all year long, and you do you if that is something you enjoy. I personally have always liked kind of rotating my collection that is pretty big for living in a tiny house, and even in years past I've always liked to just kind of rotating my makeup around to really show some love to things that I haven't touched in a while. Or, you know, when you're talking about eye looks, sometimes we go to those cranberry looks, sometimes we want more glitter, more lashes, and that is usually, when I'm doing these kind of videos, the kind of vibe I go with. But when is the last time I put on lashes? Even here on camera with you. I'm honestly trying to think. I even am tempted to pull up my phone just to be like, when was the last time? Let me look through my videos. I really don't think it has been since the beginning of the year. Did I try any falsies in any of my try-ons with Boxycharm or Ipsy or anything? Guys, I am just not kind of vibing with that these days, and that is totally okay. That's the great thing about makeup. It gets to reflect kind of where we're at and just make us feel our best, and that is the purpose of makeup. So why not switch it up every now and again? That's what I'm going to go through today. Now, I have a lot of stuff in front of me, as I usually do, because I just love telling you guys all the stuff that I'm excited to start pulling out. What are those things that I'm really looking forward to? Because we could all use some stuff to look forward to. But if I did with the amount of stuff that is on my beauty desk, we would be here until this time next year. I'd be showing you my whole collection because sometimes I get on a tangent with you guys because I just love it. But I'm going to kind of do some overviews here of the things that I'm really excited about. So I'm going to kind of talk about things in maybe more category style things just to mix it up because I got a lot to talk about. And if the eyeshadow palettes in front of me are any indication, whoo! Grab a tea, grab a snack, get comfy because we are in for the ride together. All right, ladies, grab your water. Cheers. Okay, we're good. Let's do it. Something newer to my collection, and I recently posted a picture of myself on Instagram. And if you don't follow me there, you can follow me right here because you can learn about all the latest and greatest behind the scenes. I'll give you tips and tricks and answers, all kinds of stuff. And something a lot of you asked me either on the picture itself or privately, you were like, what foundation are you wearing in that picture? Because your skin looks really good, but it doesn't look like it's too much. This is the It Confidence Foundation that has a crazy long name. I had samples of this from an Ipsy box, and that's really what made me want to kind of invest in this bigger piece. This is the CC Plus color correcting, full coverage, anti-aging, SPF 50, all the things foundation. Mine is in the shade medium if you're curious. This is something that when I had a smaller amount of, because it was a sample size, it was much easier to apply because I was being very stingy with how much I was applying to my face. So with something like this for a foundation, I find if you add too much, it gets cakey real quick because of the formula. But if you go in light with it, it can really make your skin look like your skin but better, which is the part of the name here, Your Skin But Better, CC Plus foundation, all the things. It's true, but you have to apply it the right way. And being that this year, I'm definitely doing that less is more makeup, whether that's because I don't want to spend a lot of time in the morning, because time is definitely precious when you're working from home, you're taking care of the fur kids, you're doing YouTube, you're doing the dishes, you're answering comments on Instagram, you're doing the dog mom life. You've got all the things going on in life. You get it, I get it. Sometimes you just want something easy and not too fussy. So putting on a little bit of this really just kind of makes your skin look like your skin, but better. You can still sometimes see my freckles. You can still see that it is still me. It doesn't look like that full mask, even though it says full coverage on it. And I'm learning to really enjoy this. It's newer to my collection, but this is the type of foundation that I'm kind of leaning into a lot this year. Now, does some of that have to do with the fact that I'm wearing a mask more? Probably, that makes sense. But also in the mornings, I'm not wanting to spend too much time on the layers. If you've watched a lot of my past videos that I talk about for fall makeup and winter makeup, I do a lot of layering usually. So I feel like a little liberated this year, not feeling like I have to do as much to achieve a nice makeup look. And also sometimes if I add too many layers, it can really add, you know, years to my face. And I am looking to look as young as I can right now because this year is aging all of us. But I think we're all on the same page that birthdays don't count this year. We can celebrate them. We should celebrate everything we can. But this year for the annual clock, I think next year you're going to be the same age you were this year because this year didn't count. We didn't get to do nothing. For as far as foundations go, I'm kind of leaning into more natural looking foundations. The other one that I raved about a lot on my channel previously, and I'm sure a lot of you know that, is also a CoverGirl item that's much more inexpensive. This is the CoverGirl Olay Simply Ageless. I have a few of these in my collection and I love them. These are the kind of things I'm going to be leaning into for 2020 fall winter season. Normally I would go full ham with things like the Milani Conceal and Perfect or other things that really just make all those imperfections disappear. Right now I'm like, let's look youthful, please and thank you. You're also going to be rearranging my stuff with me because as I'm going through this, I'm kind of pulling those things to the front of my drawers where I organize things because I have these little like caddies that hold my foundations and concealers, and I'm kind of putting those on the top right now. Something else that tends to help your face look really youthful when you don't have a lot of time or a lot of energy, to be honest, to really want to do that full face, but you still want to look put together. You want to feel your best without a lot of effort. Sometimes all you need is some foundation, maybe some powder, and a great mascara. This mascara is something that I got a long time ago and put it in a drawer because I had so many mascaras open. I was like, I'll deal with you another day. And it just totally fell off my radar until I was pretty low on the mascaras that I normally have in my beauty collection. So I started kind of like digging through the stuff before I went to buy things. And this was in there from, I do believe, an Ipsy. And I was like, how you doing? Let's try you. You're cruelty free. You look fun with packaging. What can we do with you? Every time I'm either in a story on my Instagrams or if I post a picture and you guys are like, what mascara you got on your eyes today? It's this one lately. And I've told you guys, I'm a diehard for the Lash Princess. Still love it. We'll still use it this fall. But this one and this one are both great at making your lashes look like kind of those natural falsies. I'm not going to say they're going to give you those, you know, voluminous, dramatic lashes because that's crap. I don't care what the ads tell you. But these are making my eyelashes today and, I mean, the past few weeks look fantastic. But this one is just like so good. This one is the Pixie Lash Lift 188. This is in the shade Beyond Black. And this is the double brush mascara where you're going to see like two pieces here. So like for the main wand down at the base here, this is for pretty much my upper lashes, and it does a great job of elongating, separating, and really lifting them. I do curl my lashes, and this just makes them look beautiful all day long. I do feel like this has some kind of tubing technology. I've honestly not looked too much into it because at the end of the day when I'm washing it off, I do see some of the like chunks that you can see with tubing mascara, so I think this is one of those type of formulas. So that's the main wand, and then on this back end here, you can see it's got a smaller bit to it, and then it's got a tiny wand for your lower lashes. I have been loving this a lot since I opened it, and I'm kind of picky when it comes to my mascaras because I know you don't have to spend a lot of money for a quality mascara. Essence $4.99, amazing. And if you can find it at a CVS, which I have been able to do, you don't have to worry about shipping. You could just go pick it up if you want to, and it's good. This guy, I will be hunting this down when I'm done with it because I love how it makes my eyelashes look. And I feel like my eyelashes are always really fickle. They fall a lot. They don't tend to separate well, even sometimes with a fresh, you know, curl to them. this makes them look great. It really, really does. So these are the things that I'm going to be reaching for. So if you need a beautiful, easy breezy face, sometimes just a little not too cakey foundations and mascara, and you could be good to go. We're working smarter, not harder some days. You know what I mean? Brows are also something a lot of us struggle with because maybe we weren't blessed with the amazing Brooke Shields eyebrows that for some reason we were led to believe we were going to have. Well, maybe I did for a while and then I plucked them too much when I was, I don't know, 19 and 20. Either way, brow products are a big, big deal in my beauty space, especially even if I'm just doing, no matter what look I'm doing really, if I'm doing a full glam look or a basic look, if I don't have those brows on, my phone thinks I'm a catfish and it won't open. You know how it does the face unlock? There are days or certain times, maybe certain angles, it won't open. It doesn't recognize me unless I have brows on. I don't want to talk about it. I'm a little upset about it myself. Anyway, I'm working on a brow routine, which sounds, you know, the opposite of what I'm talking about, where I'm like, oh, I'm trying to be a little more minimalistic with my makeup right now, except for where the brows are at right now. But the thing that is keeping my brows started and really shaped the way I want them to be done is this very cute micro pencil from ColourPop that I told you about recently, and it's in my Amazon links below. This is the ColourPop Brow Boss. Mine is in the shade dark brown. I've let you guys know I've had this before several times, and always the packaging has the biggest issue with the spoolie. Once you get the little cap off of it, just throw the little cap away. It does come with one, because if you keep trying to take it on and off to use the spoolie, it will eventually pull this off. So just save yourself the heartache and get rid of that back end immediately. But this piece is the game changer right here. It is such a fine tip and very malleable but not too creamy that you can really build out any brow shape you want, even in the front. And the front is always the spot where I tend to struggle the most. So starting my brows with this, I mean, there are days that when I am off camera and the lighting and the editing doesn't do the tricks that it tends to do with these dark brows, I will sometimes just use this and maybe a quick powder and go. I do have this on standby when I'm filming usually, because if anything moves around, I usually need to touch up with a powder to really give it the good fullness that the camera likes to see. I think this is going to be a staple for me going forward. I didn't have it for a while and I've reintroduced it to my collection. Love it. Now, going into the fall and Christmassy feeling seasons, I can tell you there still will be times that I'm going to want to do a little bit more of a glam look, and a lot of times that will require for my face shape some contour. And I always like to contour my nose a little bit, even if I don't contour the rest of my face. My nose is the one thing that I love to use a cool toned either bronzer or contour powder. And the one that I have loved and used up to the point there's so much pan on this, I'm really considering getting a new one, maybe for my birthday this November or maybe Christmas, I haven't decided, is the Tarte Park Avenue Chisel palette. A lot of you know that I have talked about this for a very, very long time on my channel, and can you tell the one I use the most? It is this cool toned bronzer. This cool toned bronzer has really stolen my heart, but I also feel like this was one of the integral pieces in the beginning stages of me understanding cool tone versus warm tone. I don't know, maybe just growing up in the 80s where my mom used to put a lot of blush on my cheeks when I did my dance recitals, I thought everything needed to be warm toned. No, it doesn't, Nichole. Adapt and learn. I love these cooler tones to chisel out my cheekbones because it does add a more natural shadow for my skin. I really enjoy it. I also really like these powders when I am trying to set down some of the contours. And this is the one that I will probably be using up the most this fall. I do have some others that I've received from Boxycharm that are good, but every time I go into their cooler toned one, whatever the piece may be in it, it's not as good as this one for some reason on my skin. So this is going to be what I am still trying to wrap up this year. And maybe I've heard one of you reached out to me to let me know you can replace these pans. I may just try to replace, you know, the main three here if I can do that, because this is what I'm still going to be reaching for the rest of the year, and probably a little less of the other ones that I've had in my collection that tend to go on the warmer side. Speaking of cooler toned face products, I loved and sadly had to get rid of my number 7 maple bronzer that I let you guys know was kind of a fail in the fact that it's just really old. It was crumbling and expiring, but I had hit so much pan on it. It was one of those moments where you were like, as this makeup lover, it's okay to let it go. But for some reason, the maple Nichole's really, really hard to find. I tried to find it this past week for a replacement without leaving my house, just like ordering it off Amazon or something, and I couldn't find it. So I think I'm going to have to order from somewhere else. But the only cool tone bronzer I apparently have left in my collection is something that Boxycharm gifted us with a full face palette and eye palette. So I am still really grateful to have this, and this is definitely something I'll be reaching for a multitude of reasons. Who still has the Tarte Clay Play palette? Who has it? You have it? I love this stuff. For some reason, I feel like some of their formulas can really work well with me. This is the cool toned bronzer contour that I can still use. I almost wonder, is this the same as this? I don't know. I don't know if this is the same as this guy. I don't think it is. I could be wrong though. Well, it might be. Heck if I know. I just know I really, really like this one. These are still warmer. This one's obviously way too dark for me unless I want to use it for my eyes. But I loved this palette when I first got it for the full face, eyes and cheeks. And on the days I need to be easy breezy but still put together, this is what I'm going to be reaching for a lot, I think. Face palette that I'm still honestly working through, but when I'm talking about being natural, this gives me a very natural look. I'm still just trying to figure out how it wears through the day because I don't seem to get a full day out of this little baby. And this is a Boxycharm item. So we all know come my quarterly reviews and year end that, oh my gosh, is coming up faster than I realize. I don't even know how I'm going to do those videos this year, but don't worry, we're going to figure it out. This product, I don't know if I'll still have by then or not. This is the Laura Geller face palette, but I think they also call this an eye lip cheek palette. For me, this is mostly just a face palette. This is in the shades of nude, and this baby, anytime I have used it on camera, you guys have really complimented how natural my makeup looks that day. And I would agree, in person, about an hour in, the makeup does look pretty natural, but because they're creamier products, I feel like when I first apply them, they don't always look the best. I feel like they have to kind of like bake on my skin a little bit, and then there's a couple of hours where I'm like, oh yeah, that's why I kept this around as long as I have, which isn't that long to be honest. But then come the end of the day, when my husband's coming home and I thought I still looked cute, but I look in the mirror, I'm like, ooh, I look worn down AF. I don't know about the lastability for this, but for an easy look, if I'm doing Zoom calls or if I've just got to do a quick, in and out, this can work for me too. But cream products, oily skin, oily combo skin, I'm still kind of working through this. But this is something that I have been using this week and I'm planning to use in the future to see my thoughts. Stay tuned for that. And I won't lie, I'm talking about these cooler tone things, but the thing or product that is a bronzer, but I tend to use just as this final glow before I either come on camera or leave my house, is this Too Faced bronzer that we did get from Boxycharm. Yes, I have the matte one now, but the one that really makes me look, I've got this healthy glow that I haven't even tried to achieve, it's just there, is this baby. The Too Faced Chocolate Gold Soleil has really just made my skin look blurred and like it's sun-kissed. And living in Florida does help because people are just like, oh, she's just got that little, she's got a little suntan from reading outside or something. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about this because so many people were really disappointed when Boxycharm was like, oh, we thought we were giving you the matte, but really we only got the, shimmery one. Do you not want it anymore? We'll take it out of your box if you don't. I still got it and I'm so glad I did. I like the matte one too, but it does pull a bit more red toned, which for me, that looks better in the summer months. So I'm enjoying this to just look like a little bit of a suntan, and it blurs. It blurs these pores and some of these imperfections. So on top of not having too heavy of a foundation going, it all looks like I didn't try, but I still did a little. Now the biggest category I'm going to have over here is palettes, and I'm just going to do that in like groupings. But before we get to that, I do want to talk about highlighters, because I did learn about the same time that I was liking cooler tone bronzers and contours. That was also the time I was really discovering and coming into my own with highlighters that were more on the cool toned, not this warm golden glow, but a more icy frosting. Some of these I have kept in my collection for a long time, and some of them are even bulky AF and not really great to put into my little organizers that I just showed you, but because the product's so good, I freaking deal with it. I have a variety of highlighters in front of me, And for the most part, it is just because they're a nice cool tone. I have a little bit up here to just kind of like complement the cheekbones today. And it just gives you that lift and it makes you look like you got more of a chisel look than I really do. Today is a combination too because I felt fancy. The first one is a Revolution product. This is the Blushing Hearts Triple Baked Highlighter. I got this, oh gosh, from like a Marshall's or something 2 years ago. It is bulky. I mean, that is a huge detractor for me, but because the product is so good, I have kept it. This is what I'm wearing today, along with a little touch of Ofra's Pillow Talk. I think I got this about a year ago, and this one is a little bit more pink tone to it compared to the other one, so I just did that lightly to kind of go with the blush, and I just feel like it is very pretty. And then kind of whatever was left on the brush, I just used the shoulders and the collarbone, and it kind of gives you that wet, sexy look without trying too hard kind of vibe. I really like those. The other one I'm talking about is who checked out my Boxycharm Hidden Gems video. This was in there, and so many of you surprised me by saying you still have it and love it too. And that is the vintage palette that we got for, gosh, was it 2016, 2017 from Boxycharm? This is Vintage by Jessica Libeskind, an illuminating face highlighter set in Rose Quartz and Chocolate Diamond. Sometimes highlighters don't really show this too well in when I insert this, but there is a good amount of pan here on this too. Because let's be serious, that is an endorsement of a product. If you've got pan on a highlighter, that's a good thing. And then I also have a couple of creamier products that I do tend to enjoy from time to time. One of them is from ColourPop, and then I've got one over here from Space Case that I got from an Ipsy. But overall, I'm just kind of trying to let you know I really vibe more either with skin toned or cooler toned highlighters. A little less of the warmth. That's kind of where I'm pulling back that golden glow and just kind of being a little bit more icing. And as far as the face goes, this year I am loving a lot of the blurring products that I am finding. Blurring products for me are really changing the way the texture on my skin looks, and I'm really adding more and more to my collection this year. And as a lot of you know, that includes some of the Hourglass things. This is an Hourglass blush that I got from the Boxycharm pop-up. This one is in Diffused Heat if you were curious. But I also let you know the Becca Soft Light Blurring Powder here that is a loose powder I use to really set down my liquid makeup, kind of let it sit, do a light powder with a compact, and then I'll usually put this on as one of the final touches with a more round brush, and I press it into those areas, kind of let it sit for just a little bit, and then it's like there's so much blur going on here, and I think it is the benefit of multiple products doing that for my skin. So that's definitely something I'm going to keep doing into the fall and winter months because, like I said, I'm trying to remove years from the face, not add to. Another one that I'm still kind of investigating behind the scenes, but it is reminding me a lot of a very high-end item, and this is an e.l.f. item. We got from Boxycharm, I'm trying to remember, it was a Bare Minerals Duo palette, and it had like a shimmering powder and a matte powder. I had that in my collection for so long. I believe I even moved it here, mostly because of the glow side. It was really good. This is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Loose Powder, and I'm seeing a lot of similarities between that product I had before and this one. This also kind of blurs, but it mostly just gives you just like a little luminescent lift, and why I used to love that powder is I would take like a small fluffy brush kind of like this that's dome shaped at the top, dip into the powder, and then just lightly go here towards the end of my makeup, under the eyes and on the cheekbones, just a little touch, and then maybe a little bit on the forehead, on the highlights, wherever you would put it. And then it's kind of like when you're out in the sun, or if the light hits you perfectly, it just looks like you've got a little glow that's not too much. It doesn't add the cakey powder feel. I'm investigating this some more, but I've noticed this reminds me of that. So it's just kind of still giving some life to your face and a little luminosity that doesn't pull in a detracting way. Let's talk about eyeshadow palettes, or we're gonna be here forever. That's okay. You guys moving in? I mean, it's a tiny house, but you know, you look comfy right there. As I rotate my eyeshadow palettes, that is the biggest drawer that I feel like I really kind of like get into, and I almost start to pull everything out, really investigate what I'm wanting, and then start reorganizing and putting things back in order of like what I'm not going to use first, so I can kind of put that back in there and then start pulling the things that I want to use to the front. Because if I've not used you in weeks or maybe even months, I am gonna forget you, or I'm gonna forget how good your formula was. So just this week, I was pulling out some old favorites, and if you've been with me since my St. Louis days, a lot of you know ColourPop is one of my favorites, and I haven't talked about them a lot on my channel or used them very recently. So I pulled out these two specifically, but I pulled this one out too. This is the Misunderstood. So it's like old school meet new school in a way. And I'm always tempted by more ColourPop palettes. I'm like, if you're gonna even consider buying some new ColourPop palettes, Nichole, you better start using the ones you have. I just mommed myself there. You know, I was like getting stern with myself. I was like, okay. I pulled these babies out, and I remembered, I was like, oh yeah, I really loved these, because I got them for my birthday like 4 years ago. And I was like only using these palettes for 2-3 months straight there for a while. And I got a variety of looks. And then when you start adding in anything new that you have to your collection that you know is totally of the season and the vibe, you're like, oh, I could add this to this. And then we have a face party, right? Sometimes this year, I feel like the eyes are going to get way more love if we're going to be wearing masks when we do get to go out. So this is what I'm like, let's play with some eyeshadow palettes. So ColourPop, I am rotating my fall faves back up front. And like I said, there are days I just want to be a neutral girl. I just want to look like your skin, but better all over my face. I wanted to look like, yeah, I woke up like this. When we really know it still took a good 20-25 minutes, but whatever. This is my pile of neutral palettes that I'm really excited to pull out. Some of this, again, is old school meet new school. I used a lot today. The OG old PUR palette that made me think that all PUR palettes would be good, and then I learned the hard way they weren't. But this one, is so good. This is the Soiree Diaries palette. I really loved this formula, and I swatched these the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, the quality is still just as good. I couldn't believe it, because this is from my very first year on YouTube. So we're talking, this is an old baby here, and it's holding up so good. I'm so mad that they discontinued this. This is a great palette. I also used a little bit of the newer palette that I have here from Manny, from the Morphe palette I got from Boxy, and this highlighter, the Baked Browns from Dose of Color. I really like the formula also on the Zoeva palette and the Caramel palette that I received. These are really nice palettes, and they really complement my skin tone. I could go cool toned, I could go neutral, I could go a little bit warmer too. And that's what's nice about an easy breezy eye look that's in a neutral shade, because it just can kind of complement you without overwhelming the whole look, you know? Okay, the next one I gotta talk about is more the berry tones, because every now and again, especially when we start getting into Thanksgiving and Christmas, that's when I start being like, ooh, what's a festive eye look I could do? Or I get inspired by someone else's makeup, and I love doing that too. And I've got a lot here from Boxycharm. That's my post-it reminding me which pile this was. Don't judge me. You think I got all this memorized? Please. I got some Ace Beauté palettes here. I have my Crown and Fuego palette. Who remembers this? Who still has this? You have no idea how many times I've looked at this and been like, this isn't like impressive to look at. It's Crown. I don't really have a good memory of a lot of my other Crown products, but this one, dang it. I put on a whole neutral eye look today, and I was really struggling with which creamy piece I wanted to put on my lids, just to complement everything and kind of tie it all together. Because sometimes if you got one bad tone in there, it just kind of messes up the whole bunch and you just think something looks off. I started doing some hand swatching, and then I went into the only one piece they had, which was this one, and it was perfect. That is what's on my lids today to complement all the other variety of things that I have from a lot of the neutral palettes I got listed out there. And I couldn't believe that. I was like, this is the one thing I wanted. And then when I applied it, I couldn't believe how buildable it was. I forgot how pigmented it was, how easily it spread. I'm like, man, you're an old palette too, and you're performing just as well too. Thank you, thank you. So some of these, I'm like, are they too similar to what I already have? Will this help me to declutter stuff in the future? Quite possibly. So that is another reason. Look at this fall color story. This whole color story is why I picked this palette. And then I got frustrated that this formula wasn't as good as this one from the Grandiose. So again, more investigating happening in here this fall and winter, so I can figure out what do I need to keep and what do I need to declutter, because that eyeshadow palette drawer is getting really heavy every time I open it and close it. Because Boxycharm, you know, every month, 3 boxes, they're churning them out. So I gotta figure it out. Then I have two other piles of eyeshadow palettes that I'm not really sure where they belong because I'm not sure how I feel about this particular one. This one is the Ciate London, the New England palette. I like this, and I have tried some of the pieces, and I've watched some tutorials online to kind of get some inspo for this. But this one keeps stumping me in a way, but look at all those colors. Definitely is like giving you some fall vibes, right? So I want to figure out how to incorporate this maybe with some of my, you know, neutral palettes or some things that can just kind of give it some life. So I need to spend some time with this fall. And there's just some pieces too that I'm really excited about. They're a little bit higher end. I received one of these from one of you guys and one of these from a Boxycharm. These are the higher end pieces that I feel like I was missing out on before. The Modern Renaissance, I had told you guys for years that I was curious. You guys all told me get it, and then one of you was like, I'm getting it for you while you're recovering. I don't even care. You're the MVP. I mean, if this doesn't say fall to you, I don't know what pumpkin spice latte you're having, says the woman who hasn't had a pumpkin spice latte in probably... Has it been a year? I think it's just been a year, but you know what I'm saying. These are just high quality, great formulas. The other one here is the Tarte Pro one, and this is the one we got in the summer that I kept saying, oh my gosh, how many of you just see this and go, all the fall looks, all the fall vibes? Please give it to me. This also kind of goes along with that cooler tone feel that I've been talking about. This is really when I tend to pull out looks and shades like this. Now, Lippies, I feel like I still have a ton of Lippies out here that I'm excited to pull out, even if I'm going to be wearing a mask this fall. That's totally fine because a lot of times, like I said, I work from home. I come here on camera with you guys, but also I do my makeup for me more days than anyone else. I have a weird combo on my lips today, but I am really enjoying it. So how many of you saw that Ipsy video I did a long time ago earlier this year? And I was like, this name of this lipstick made me want to try it. This shade is called 90s Nostalgia. How many of you remember like having like a brown nude lip almost all the time in the 90s? You know what I mean? I even did this, I think, even into the early 2000s because I really liked how it looked on my skin tone. I have on a combination today for funsies, all because I just wanted to, of my vintage liner that I let you guys know. This is one of those hidden gems I let you guys know about in that past video from Boxycharm. This is the Vintage by Jessica Labiskin, just like the highlighter. This one is in the shade Mocha. I love lining my lips with this. It's super creamy for even like this wooden pencil look. And it goes with so many different lip options, and I have a ton in front of me. I had on that with this color as like the lipstick because it's a little stiffer. And then on top, I put on this Persona Lippy that I let you guys know as this gloss. It is so pigmented and it gives you that beautiful slippy shine that's not too slippy and it's not sticky. It's like the perfect formula for my face and I love it. And a lot of you guys let me know you love it too. So there's some colors and some shades in here that are more of those fall vibes. Like obviously I have Miami Fever in here from Ofra that I recently let you guys know I repurchased in the Ulta 21 day sale because it is that good and I love it that much. It's such a great fall color. I've also got some nude ones in here that have a little bit more pinky tones, and I am excited to pull out this Marc Jacobs baby that I got in my Boxycharm that definitely has those more Halloween, purple, green, glossy vibes. Like, it's a lip gloss, but you can definitely see the reflections in there that pull those unique fall hues into it. And a lot of you guys know I got some more in the Boxycharm pop-up. ColourPop has amazing lippies that I even still love to pull out. And you guys know, I've told you, I wasn't a big fan of bullet lippies. And then I got these and they're so good. I was like, yes, please. So yeah, even if this fall I still may be rocking a mask, that is okay because I do a lot of makeup just for me a lot, whether it's here at home or if I do get to go out a little bit, I still love them. And Ofra lipsticks are long lasting, so you could possibly wear that for a little bit underneath the mask if it's a quick in and out. Like I said, guys, if I kept going down the rabbit hole into each individual thing, we would be here forever. But these are all of the items that I'm super excited to be pulling out in this next season for us. The fall, winter time, where things can maybe just slow down maybe a little bit, and just kind of give myself a more youthful face that's not gonna take forever. At least that's my personal goal at this moment. Tell me, what are some of the things that you love to pull out into the fall, winter months? I may have forgotten some of them, or I just knew I had so much on my table here I couldn't possibly get through it all. So let us know some other things below that you love to pull out. Do you have any secret makeup tips that you want to share with us for that next season? Because this is when I'm gonna start being a little bit drier, and as a previous all the time oily skin girl, I'm still figuring all of that out myself. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you happen to be new to my loud, weird, crazy, unique channel, hi new friends! I hope you take a quick moment to hit that subscribe button down below so you just don't miss out on all of these fun, loud, weird, unique videos I do every single week. I love you guys so much, and YouTube should be recommending a video for you right now, but if it is your time to go, I really appreciate you guys spending this time with me every single week. I love talking to you guys and sharing these things with you, and I love when you share with me. Bye friends!